Hey guys, it's time to talk about Call of Duty World War II. I am joined by Michael and Greg from Sledgehammer Games. Thanks so much for joining us today, guys.
Thank you, Sid. It's exciting to be here.
That's right, and we got a lot of good stuff to talk about. We're going to take a look back on the big beta you guys had on PS4 this past weekend. We're going to talk about some of the things you guys learned. We're going to answer some fan questions. And we're going to take a look, an exclusive first look, at what's coming this weekend because you guys have some new tricks up your sleeve for beta weekend too.
We certainly do. And we're excited to be here to share that with fans. It was a great weekend one, great partnership with you guys. So thanks for having us. We can't wait to talk about it.
Thanks for coming. It was a long drive. I mean, you know, arduous journey to get here to the PlayStation campus. I know you guys are like right down the street. So.
We are. But we do come sort of via Gamescom. So we can talk a little bit about that experience.
Yeah.
And now we're right back here with you guys getting ready for weekend two. It's been a great couple of weeks for the studio.
Excellent. So let's take a quick look back at Beta Weekend 1, which debuted on PS4 this past weekend. In a nutshell, how'd it go?
I mean, in a nutshell, it was amazing for us. I mean, for the studio to finally see fans playing the game in a live environment, great opportunity to learn and get community feedback, stress test our back-end systems. It was great.
Good stuff. Greg, anything to add? I mean, you're on the multiplayer side specifically. This must be a big moment for you.
Yeah, it's huge. It's great to get the game out there. Like, we've worked long and hard on it, and just having it out with the fans and being able to play it right now is great. We've learned a ton of awesome stuff from it.
That's great. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a second, but we're also going to answer some community questions. So I'm going to actually butt to the head of the line on that because I actually played a ton of this weekend, and I got to say, this war mode that you guys trotted out here, maybe the coolest, freshest thing I've played in Call of Duty competitive in maybe 5 or 6 years. So it was electrifying. I loved it. It was objective based. Tell me kind of where your guys' heads are at when you designed this war mode.
Yeah, it was all about creating that authentic World War II objective mode where it's attackers and defenders going at it, having something that's not like purely based around KD, where you can really get the experience of being in the war, essentially, and it captures that in a lot of ways.
I mean, it's a really great new addition. It's a big new mode for multiplayer this year. And what we were trying to capture was the sense of true camaraderie in World War II. It was about the squad. And multiplayer for us, it's fast, it's grounded, it's all the things that you know and love about Call of Duty, but oftentimes it's a sort of a lone wolf experience. But in war, you really have to work together. You have to work as a team. You have to have a diverse group of divisions that can support different objectives. If you run solo, you're not going to be successful. If you don't have a diverse group of people working to provide different objective covers, like you've seen at the bridge, I don't know if we're going to run some war mode footage here for you. If everyone's running an SMG in Airborne Division, you're not going to be successful. So really, World War II is about the camaraderie of the squad rather than the super soldier or the lone wolf experience. And I think that's probably what you saw, and we're seeing that with the fans. They're really loving that.
Super fresh. I loved it. I loved it. And we're going to answer a few questions from the community right now. We've been asking folks for all their questions out there on Twitter. One question I got here was from Calum Rules on PlayStation Blog. He said, will there be larger, more open maps? So I think this is probably based on what he experienced in the beta.
Yeah, we have a lot of tighter maps in the beta, but for Ship, we do have a huge variety. One of the maps that was in one of the earlier trailers was the Gustav Cannon. So there's a massive cannon in the middle of the map. It's large and open. Snipers are going to have a field day in there. There's a lot of other maps, even one that may be coming out this weekend.
May or may not.
May or may not. We'll
That's
see.
right.
But like, it has more open sight lines. You're able to get in there and move around much more than some of the trenches in Point Du Hoc.
Yeah, so it sounds like there's good diversity here at maps.
There really is, and you know, each of the 5 divisions really iconic and lends to a particular play style. Like Greg was talking about, Expeditionary Force with the shotguns in the trenches, trench warfare for Point Du Hoc, perfect. You definitely don't, or probably don't want to run shotties in Cannon, right? And so we've built maps to really promote different play styles so that you'll really explore all the divisions, you'll rank up all your divisions, you'll unlock those exclusive division weapons, and then you can match your play style and your sort of progression to the map that you're playing on and the mode you're playing on.
And that is one thing that we're seeing within the beta is the data that we're pulling out of this. The maps and the weapons that people are using on those maps coincide with their KD, and it's interesting to see that correlation and to know that those were our goals going out.
Interesting. I'll have a few more questions about how betas work here in a second, but I did get a lot of questions from a lot of Call of Duty players who played the beta. They're saying, what's up with Search and Destroy? What can you tell us about Search and Destroy? I heard it was a resounding question, so what can you guys say about that?
We love Search and Destroy. We play it in the studio all the time. And it's one of those modes that we want to make sure we get it right. We want to make sure that it's great when we get it out there. It will be there at Chip. It's a staple of the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's coming.
You haven't forgotten about it.
Yeah.
That's important.
No, and you saw it. We had an exhibition in Gamescom for the competitive scene, and we're really committed to that. And we wanted to bring a mode that we knew was stable there, so we chose to take CTF, Capture the Flag. Right? So we've confirmed Capture the Flag. Of course, the S&D is going to be there, and we've heard from the community. I mean, the community wants S&D. It's coming, but it's not coming in weekend 2.
Got it. All right, good to know. Thanks for the transparency. And speaking of transparency, let's talk a little bit about what a beta allows folks like Sledgehammer to do. I mean, it seems like a lot of work. I'm gonna put it out there to launch essentially a game ahead of launching like the full game. So tell me a little bit about what does a studio like Sledgehammer get out of a beta like
well,
this?
you're totally right, Sid. It is a lot of work.
Yeah.
But the value is immense. I mean, we have a commitment to sort of delivering a fan experience that feels near ship quality. So you put a ton into it. So on the surface level, the beta was really stable, and that was great, and it was really polished and a very slice sort of experience. For us, it allows us a chance to stress test the systems on the back end. Like, it's a much different experience going from a couple hundred developers playing to a couple million players playing in a live environment. So that was great. And then it gives a real one-to-one engagement with the community. We think we're making the right decisions, and by and large, we're seeing a lot of things validated. But there's a lot of great feedback too. And so even going into weekend 2, we've already been able to react to some of the things the community has told us across Reddit and our survey. So yes, a lot of work, but tremendous value.
So tell me about kind of the work that does go into it. I mean, is this, this isn't just sort of, grab the file that's on the server and push it live. I mean, you're shipping a product, right? I mean, that's basically what you're doing here.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, at any other place, it might be the game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But we have very high quality standards at Sledgehammer, and it's a massive amount of work to go and to QA all of that, to make sure out of making sure that it plays smoothly is huge for us.
And that fit and finish is there. I mean, I was telling you guys earlier, I just love all the particle effects, like tossing grenades, firing bazookas, and seeing the foliage just shake and ripple. I mean, so you got that polish in there. So I got to give you props for that.
Thank you for that. I mean, it's funny. Sometimes it's like you're building the aircraft while you're flying it a little bit, right? And so, we want fans to be immersed in the experience and not being taken out by anything like crashes or bugs. And so the team has put a tremendous focus on this since E3, really, to get to this date. And that allows us to tackle some things that we know we had to do anyways. But to your point, it is like shipping a game right before you actually have to ship a game.
That's right. That's right. Well, we thank you for it because it's a lot of fun. So speaking of a lot of fun, let's talk about what's going down this weekend. So this is the second weekend for the Call of Duty beta. It'll be on PS4, and you guys are bringing some new content.
We are. Yeah, absolutely. New maps, new modes, new levels, which allow new equipment and weapons and basic training. In fact, I think we're going to show you an exclusive look at one of our new maps.
Let's check it out. So tell me a little bit about Aachen is the name of this map. Tell me a little bit about kind of where you guys how this map kind of fits into the complement of maps.
Yeah, so it's a medium-ish map. It has a huge center lane that you can go and really utilize the new sniper rifle that's going to be out in the levels that we're unlocking. So you're going to be able to take the M1903 down the center lane from trolley to trolley and just own that area. It ultimately makes a pretty large plus sign in the middle of the map. You can see it there, where various modes, like on hardpoint, you're going to be able to utilize that center area and really create some interesting combat and engagements in those spaces.
So this is a first look at Aachen. This is the new map that'll be coming out this weekend in Call of Duty World War II's beta. You got to pre-order to get in. It's one thing you should know, but we had a great time last weekend on PS4. Lots of new content coming this weekend, so this is our map Aachen. I understand you guys actually visited all of the places that you depicted in the game here for the most part, right?
Yeah, that's right, Sid. We really wanted to capture the essence of the war, and so for nearly 3 years, the team has been committed to researching what really happened. And sometimes you have to get on, not sometimes, frankly, you have to get on the ground in these places to really capture the spirit. And so we went to Pointe du Hoc, we went to Gibraltar, and we went to Aachen. And this city, northern city in Germany, where the Allied and Axis forces really had this epic battle over a series of days where they frankly just shelled each other It was a dramatic battle. It, as you see here, destroyed the city in the process. So we got boots on the ground there, gathered photo reference, really sort of soaked in the spirit of it. And I think we've captured that here. This was a gritty, brutal war, massive destruction. So this map sort of captures what happened when these two forces collided. And it's a great map. It's going to bring a new play style, like Greg mentioned. LMGs and Armor Division, Mountain Division really hold some power positions in that center lane in a way. There's some cross street fighting between the buildings that allow great AR and SMG fighting. So yeah, we're really excited. Exclusive look for you guys, and come Friday, excuse me, first time fans will actually play it live.
That's great. Well, thank you for that exclusive look, and there's actually more to come here because I overheard some references to new gear, new weaponry. So what can you tell me about what's coming this weekend?
Yeah, so we're gonna up the level cap.
Nice.
Yeah, so that'll be great. And that's one thing we get out of the beta is we monitor where people are in progression, and we're able to see that. And once we feel they get enough experience, we move it on and we up it. So coming up, we're gonna have the M1A1 carbine. Like, there's gonna be these awesome new weapons that you can get in there.
Oh, M1A1, I like that one. That's a good. That's
it's
a good
great.
weapon.
It's a little different than the Garand 3-shot kill, but you're gonna be it's your low recoil weapon.
Excellent.
And there's some new streaks that are coming on that are pretty fun.
Any other little tidbits there? I mean, we're gonna have like new outfits or any other kind of details, fit and finish type stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, new mode coming this weekend, new uniforms coming this weekend, and some changes from weekend one. I mean, when you asked about what a beta gives you, it gives you a real-time dialogue with the community, which we love. I mean, our fans are super passionate, and we've been soaking that in. So in addition to new stuff that's coming, new equipment, new gear, new basic training, new weapons, all of these things, we're also making some fundamental changes to the feedback we've gotten. We're addressing some load issues and some hit marker issues. We're bringing, we're upping the point cap on TDM to 100 to test that and see how that works out.
Great.
Kills in Dom will be worth 100 points now,
yes,
which has been a big one, right?
I saw some comments around that.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
And we love that because really we can sort of A/B the results.
Right.
We can look at weekend one and how people enjoyed it, and now we can look at weekend two, and that will help inform the right decision for November. And that's sort of the methodology through this whole beta experience for us.
Really interesting to hear that. And on the domination point, I mean, I was actually like reading Reddit and I was reading comments and things around, why is it only 50 and now you're going to try out 100? I mean, there's probably a delicate balance you have to take from a game development perspective. You want people focused on the domination element, maybe not the killing as much. So
it's a very fine line that we run between the no streaks and streak spam. And, it's just something that we constantly battle with internally as a studio. And it's great to hear the feedback from the fans, and we're going to try it out. And we'll see how it goes, and we'll see what the response is.
And I think that we get that feedback constantly, internally and externally. And when you have a broad, diverse sort of set of opinions, you need the data to validate. Like, we've heard a lot of people give us feedback, hey, maybe the incendiary shells are too powerful. Maybe the grease gun is not. Well, we have real data to show what's happening in the community. So rather than a single, somewhat subjective opinion, you can look at when millions of people are playing and say, oh, actually, the grease gun has the highest KD right now. Maybe it's not overpowered.
Fascinating,
right?
Yeah.
Maybe incendiary shells aren't overpowered,
at
least in the way we're seeing it. And so this weekend, too, gives us a chance to tune some knobs, some behind the scenes, some in front of the community, and really figure out what that fine line is, as you mentioned.
Good stuff. Let's get to a few more questions. We did get some community questions here. Want to make sure we take care of those. From PlayStation Blog, this is Skill-Based MM asked, this is based on, that's great, right? Will grenades get tuned down? They're a little strong right now, especially since you can't get away quite as quickly. So tell me a little bit about grenades.
Well, we're very aware that the game has changed from boost to not boost.
Sure, yeah.
So, and that's one of the things we looked at right away was like, hey, you're not going to be able to jump out of the way. We need to tune them down. And we've already done that in a lot of ways to get to this point. And the data we're seeing isn't, like, they're not super OP. I think they're around a few percentage points about the total amount of kills. So it's we're monitoring it. We're constantly monitoring it. And the other thing is there's the armored division. You level that up, you're going to be able to take more explosive damage and not get hurt as much. So
that's right. Did get a lot of questions around expeditionaries, incendiary shells. Are they overpowered? Maybe not, based on the data.
Yeah, that's right. So we go back and forth. I mean, what we do know is that the incendiary shells have a lot of real visual appeal and
Yeah,
punch to them.
they
right?
sure do.
They're actually less powerful than standard shells,
Oh.
but they do damage over time, right? And so what we see, many of the top performing guys in our studio, the developers in our studio that play with the shotties, they don't take the incendiary shells because they don't want the damage over time. They want the punch because they're fairly accurate. So we're not sure yet. In fact, we're going to move them off. We think we're going to move them off as the default shell, so you have to load them in.
Okay.
And then we're going to look weekend 2 at the data to see, hey, do we have to nerf or buff them? I don't think we're going to buff them, but I don't know that we're going to nerf them either. Is that right, Greg?
We're going to let it play out.
That's
There we
right.
go.
It's so interesting to hear. I mean, game design has just changed, particularly in the multiplayer side, has changed so much just in the last 5 years. I mean, that you can do these kind of tests in real time. Fascinating stuff. This is Patakiller via Twitter asked about score streaks from the beta. Are they going to be kept the same from what we've seen in the beta? This individual likes it because he thinks it makes it more challenging, more rewarding. So that's an interesting point. What do you think about that?
Score streaks are an important part of the game.
Yeah.
And you know, we've noticed a couple of things like the Molotov cocktails we've seen, because it's a fairly low cost score streak. There were a lot of them. We felt like there were too many. So we're going to make an adjustment there. The default, the score is going to remain the same, but you're only going to get 1 instead of 2. The paratroopers, really rewarding visually, but we want them to be a little tougher and help your team a little more. So we're going to up the sort of difficulty there. This week in the unlocks, we've got the flamethrowers coming. So that'll be really exciting. Yeah, visually amazing. So we're going to get to see how fans react to that. What's the other one? Mortar Strike?
Mortar Strike's coming.
Yep. And so new streaks to check out. Already some feedback from weekend 1 that we're going to take in and make some adjustments on as well.
Very nice. Here's another one from Legit Caleb via Twitter. This is one I was wondering myself, actually. Will there be voting for maps? Will there be a voting system for maps, or will the game just sort of choose the next map?
Yeah, there would certainly be a voting system for maps. It's one of the things that we did in the beta to get better data, just so we can basically get the experience that we want to get our data back and make sure that it's as preserved as possible. So we know what maps are coming out, we know when they're there, and how to rate it based on what we're getting back in the data.
You guys got all the bases covered. You thought of everything here, right?
Of course.
Certainly not. I mean, we're learning a lot. Here's Gibraltar. That was from the beta, and you know what we saw initially was in Mosh Pit and other random rotations, Gibraltar wasn't coming up enough. So we made some back-end adjustments to do that, to force it, because we wanted to really have a baseline to compare maps against each other. But to Greg's point, in the shipping product in November, yes, there'll be a voting system.
Good to hear that. Gentlemen, just a couple months to go here. You're coming out November 3rd on PS4. I mean, that's not too far off. I mean, how you feeling? Like, how's the confidence level?
Oh, it's great. I mean, the game, playing it over the weekend is amazing.
Yeah.
And just there's so much more to the game with headquarters, all the camo unlocks, all of this other stuff that we have within the game is just going to add that much more to it, and all the customization is huge.
Yeah, headquarters is a big innovation that's yet to come, so we're excited about that. I think we are excited. Certainly we're all a bit fatigued. It's been quite a run since E3, but the teams at Sledgehammer and everybody across Raven and Activision are pouring their hearts into this thing. So there's a lot of excitement to deliver this game to fans and the quality that they demand and we want to deliver. And you know, between weekend 2 of the beta and then the actual game for November, yeah, there's a lot of really great energy right now. And that's thanks to you guys, and it's thanks to the fan feedback from the beta and E3 and the reveals. I mean, there's a lot of wind in our sails.
That's great. Good vibes all around. Yeah. I loved what I played. Can't wait to play more this weekend. Try out that new content, new maps, new modes, new gear. And I think that'll just about do us today.
Yeah, thank you, Sid. It was great to be here.
Yeah, I really appreciate you guys coming by. Check out that beta coming back to PS4 this weekend.